what do you do with the beautiful waxed amaryllis that you may have gotten for Christmas, or you may have gotten one of the great Easter colors? Now, these bulbs here that I have are produced by a company called Bloomaker, and they produce some of the largest bulbs that are out there, and they dip them in wax. Let's look at this one here. It's almost finished blooming. And it already had one blooming stem here, another blooming stem there, and this is the third blooming stem. Now, as they're blooming, you can see this flower is finished right here. So you can go ahead and remove that flower. I'm gonna make believe this is finished flowering. Once they finish flowering, anywhere between 2 and 3 stems, they start producing leaves. So what you want to do is come in here and carefully remove the flowering stem like this. Then, now I'll tell you, some people don't keep the bulbs forever, but a lot of people do like to salvage the bulbs and have them bloom again on their own. So there's 2 ways to remove the wax. One is with the scissors. So when you remove the wax, if you look, each bulb was wrapped in cellophane, or they're wrapped in a balloon. But here is one of the bulbs. They're starting to produce a few roots. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna remove the wax from this one. And what we're gonna do with these bulbs is we're gonna plant these bulbs in the garden. So you remove the wax that is present. And when you put them in the garden, they're gonna produce roots and produce a lot of foliage. Again, carefully come in here, remove the wax, and keep in mind when or after you've removed the wax, and you can see here in a second, right here, you can see the new roots that are being produced. So you just want to come in here carefully, remove the wax. So I've got these 3 ready to plant right in the garden. Now the foliage is probably going to get quite a bit taller. Let me just talk a little bit about planting them in a garden. It really depends on where you live, how deep you plant them. First of all, my name's Mark Viette, and I live here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, and we get cold. I mean, this year we got down to maybe 10 degrees. We've gotten a lot colder in the past, but if you live along the coast, let's say you live in Duck, North Carolina, or you live in Virginia Beach or Williamsburg, those climates are warmer. Now, I recommend any place that freezes, when you plant this bulb, you're going to want to plant them a little deeper, like here. So in Williamsburg, you're going to plant them 1 inch or 2 deeper than the bulb. Where we are here in the Shenandoah Valley, in between Stanton and Waynesboro and east of Charlottesville, we plant them 10 inches deep because the ground can freeze, and if the bulbs freeze, they're not going to come back for you. I find these are really hardy, but they may not come back for you in the garden. So I'm going to take these 3 bulbs and I'm going to show you how to plant them in the garden. It's really easy. And let me go ahead and get some fertilizer here. 2 kinds of fertilizers. Bulb Tone by Espoma is for all your bulbs. You can apply it once a year. But when you're planting new plants, I really like Espoma Biotone Starter Plus. It gives that plant that oomph to really grow well for you in the garden. So if you want a good workout in the garden, you're going to take your fork, and I like to loosen the soil by hand Now, if you have a rototiller, you can do that too. Now, there's a few tree roots in here. Makes it not as easy. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put Biotone Starter Plus. Then I'm going to work it in the soil. It's really easy. If you've already loosened the soil, and I like forks to do that, you just come like this, work it in the soil, maybe 2 times, and then I'm ready to plant. You can use a trowel, but since I'm going to plant them a little deeper, I'm going to use one of my favorite shovels. It's a narrow shovel. Cut through the tree roots. I'm not going to plant this one as deep, but I'm going to come in here and plant one there. I'll plant another one right here. And then I'm going to plant another one right here. And then knee pads work well. I'm going to come in and put the soil back over them. I like to plant them in groups of 3 to 5. It's going to produce foliage like this. And you can always dig them out of the ground the end of September and dry them off. And what that means is end of September, you dig the bulbs up, trim the roots a little bit, and you're going to cut the foliage back, and you're going to dry them for 2 months. And they really benefit from being outside, either in a container or in the ground, because the sunlight on the foliage all summer long helps rebuild the bulb. After 2 months of drying, you're going to repot them, and hopefully within 4 to 6 weeks, they're going to bloom again for you indoors. I'm Mark Viette, and I'm in the garden.